Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kim, and today we're going to be talking about my May reading wrap-up. So in the month of May, I read 17 books, including 4 rereads. It was, obviously a really reading heavy month. I was pretty much just in that kind of headspace where literally all I wanted to do was read. It was really hard to get myself to do anything else. So yeah, I read a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, okay? I'm filming this a little late, in the month of June. It's already well into the month of June, and in the month of June, I've already read like 10 books. Something like that. So I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I am a tiny bit foggy maybe on some of these books I read in May. Not to mention, I completely and utterly failed my book journal last month, and only filled it out for I think like 4 of the 17 books. So I already feel like these are chaotic when I film them because I feel like my thoughts are all over the place. But today I feel like it's going to be extra chaotic, because I don't even really have my book journal to like kind of, refer back to. I did end up writing all the titles down in my book journal, and I at least like put my star rating and my spice rating, which at this point I feel like means nothing. I really think I need to sit down and like hammer out what a spice rating means to me, because like I've been seeing some lately where they're saying like one chili pepper means like kissing and like closed door romance, and to me I feel like that means no spice. Like I don't think a kiss is considered spice. I feel like that's very, very G-rated. So I always think like for me kind of like one chili pepper is maybe there's like one spice scene. But yeah, I think that to even like continue on giving you guys a spice rating, I really need to like pick a spice scale and like I said, like really hammer out the details of what that means to me, because at this point, like I've said in the past, like I don't know. It's so like based on vibes. Just know that anything I read, unless I specifically state there is no spice, is gonna have spice. Okay, so take that with what you will. I mean, I do think it's up to us as readers to like research things on our own. Like you shouldn't just take my word for something, because obviously what I feel like is spicy might not be spicy to you, or is like way too spicy for you. So yeah, I don't know, just take my spice ratings with the grain of salt, especially this month, I think, because when I was like filling out just like that little bit of information in my book journal for these, like literally yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, I was kind of thinking like, was this spicy? Was this not spicy? I don't know. So just fair warning on that for this month. Am I getting did I learn my lesson from last month, and am I being good about filling out my book journal for this month? What do you guys think? Because the answer to that is like a huge no. I haven't filled out anything for this month either, except like I said the other day when I was doing the rest of the May books, where I was just writing like basically just writing the title, the author, the genre, the date I finished reading it, and like I said, the star and spice rating. I did do that for the books I read this month so far, so maybe I'll go back and actually write a little blurb about it. I think partly of what I'm kind of a little annoyed with is like, so I don't know, I've shown this before. I've been using these little book review things that I get for free from Probably Smut every month, but they used to be blank on the back, which I get it, like isn't like the best use of space, but for me I liked it blank on the back, because if my review went longer I could continue on the back, because this is the only thing I have now. This is the only little tiny space I have to write a review. And you guys see how I yap about books. This is not enough space for me. My hair is annoying the crap out of me today. And now they're double-sided, so I don't have anywhere to continue So I've been trying to just like write very little about it, but I don't know, maybe I need to start using my Goodreads more and actually writing reviews on my Goodreads instead of just doing a star rating on Goodreads. Should I do that? What do you guys think? Okay, look, I've already yapped for like 6 minutes or something like that, and I lost my space in here because I picked it up. Okay, well, anyways, like, to all that to say, just like, bear with me. Bear with me, this wrap up. I do think that I am probably, some of these might be really quick. Like, I liked it. I don't know, because it's already hard enough. Like, these wrap ups are really kind of hard for me to do. Like I've said before in the past, because like, obviously I want to keep them spoiler free. I should say that, I should have said that in the beginning. These are spoiler free reviews or wrap ups. Unless you feel like tropes are spoilers, then I might say a few tropes here and there. So if you do feel like those are spoilers, then it might not be for you. But anyways, let's just get into this because it's already, I feel like, going to be a long video. So I guess I need to just start yapping about these books. The first book I read in the month of May was The Never List by Jade Presley. So this caught my eye because it was a pretty book. And then I was looking, I think it's like randomly looking it up one day online, and I saw that this was the end pages for guys. And I was like, oh, this must be a why choose. And then, yeah, the little tagline up here literally says, why choose one when you can have them all. Sorry, it's covered by the Target thing. So this is a romantasy why choose. I gave this 4 stars. Like, initially, like, my vibes were, 4 stars. I think probably after thinking about it a little bit, I'd probably like maybe push that down to like 3.5 stars, 3.75. I don't know. And it's spicy. I gave it 4 chili peppers. Obviously, why choose multiple partners. There's a lot of spice going on in this book. I would probably say not most. There's a lot of spice. Okay. I think I just like was in the mood, you know. I was just vibing with it when I rated it 4 stars. I don't think this is a bad book. I do think that there's probably a lot of like, it's a very like, how do I say this? It's just like an easy read. Don't expect too much of it. I think if you go in, and like, I'm not one of those people that wants to like turn my brain off every time I read, but like sometimes, you know, one of those books, you're just in that mood, you know, it could be a good time. And like, that's what this was for me. I'll continue the series. Do I wish there was like more character development? Yes. Do I wish that there was more tension within the relationships? Yes. But I don't know. I had a good time reading it. It was an easy read. It was a quick read. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. So like I said, I will continue it. It did it like I said, it's been a lot of books since I've read this. This was a lot of books ago. Has it stuck with me? Not really. But like I said, I enjoyed it enough to know where the story goes. I don't know. I think this is just going to be a duology. I could be completely wrong. I don't really know how many books. Why, I don't know why part of me is saying like, oh, I read somewhere it's going to be duology, but maybe it's a trilogy. I don't know. But yeah, again, overall, was this amazing? No, but it was a good time. I do wish there was more tension, a little bit more yearning, a little bit more character development, but you know, it was good. It was an enjoyable experience where I read it. Now, I went from reading that to reading Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. And I loved this book. Okay, so I read Phantasma last month. I believe I gave it 4 stars. Enchantra is a 5-star book for me. I liked it so much more than the first book. I gave this 2 chili peppers. Again, I don't know. It could be 3. I remember... I won't say that. I won't say that because I feel like it's a little spoilery. But, so this follows... why did her name just completely leave my memory? Genevieve, the sister. I will say at the end of it in Phantasma, I didn't love the sister, but after Enchantra, I love the sister. I feel like she was a much more interesting character than I think the sister's name's. I was gonna say Scarlet, but that is Caraval. And this series is like an adult version of Caraval. I can't think of the sister's name. Don't come for me. I feel like that's like the first bit of information that completely leaves my brain after I read a book and move on to another one, are the characters' names, unless they like really resonate with me. Yeah, that's probably bad. But I loved this one. I feel like some of the issues I had with Phantasma, I feel like Kaylee, you could tell, like, even just from her first book to the second book, like, the advancement. I want to say advancement. That's probably a weird way. Just, like, the difference in her writing, how I feel like it's probably progressed and gotten better. Because, yeah, a lot of the little things that kind of, like, and I liked Phantasma, don't get me wrong, but, like, there were a few things that I just didn't love, and I feel like this book does them much better and, like, fixes those problems. Not to mention, I got to meet Kaylee Smith last month at a book signing. She was the moderator at the book signing, but I still got to chat with her for a little bit, and like I got to see her personality a bit when she was interviewing Rachel Gillig, and I really, really like her. She seems like a really cool person. I'm really excited for anything she puts out in the future. This feels like this is going to have another book in this series, which I'm really excited about. I'm very curious who it's going to be about. I think partly another reason why this book was so much better in my opinion than Phantasma is because it has just like this stronger set of side characters, whereas Phantasma, we didn't really have that. We just had the two like main characters and like a couple characters that popped in here and there, but they really weren't like, you know, you didn't really get to know them or anything. They didn't really have a whole lot, you know, to do with the story. Whereas this one, we have the male main characters like family, and I really liked a few of them a lot. So I think that added tidbit to the story really helped. I always love like a group of characters where you have, you know, have some different personalities and stuff like that. So I really, really loved Enchantra. Highly recommend this one. I do think that you should probably read Phantasma before. I don't think you have to per se. They are, I think, technically interconnected standalones, but I do think it's probably just, I don't know. For me personally, when I know there's other books, even if they're like that, where they're like said, you don't have to read it. I like to read it because I just like to have like the full scope of the world and like the connections between the characters, and I like to know all the tidbits about that. So I would still say you should read Phantasma first, and Phantasma's a good time as well. I enjoyed both these books, but definitely Enchantra is my favorite of the two books series so far. Okay, the next book I read, and I'm kind of remembering, like literally it's been so long, I kind of forgetting like what my TBR even was like set for this month. And now I remember I was like continuing series that I was in the middle of, or trying to finish series I was in the middle of, hence Enchantra, because that was the second one to the Phantasma. And then the next two books actually were the second and third book in the series of a book I read, I think in April, called The New Guy, hockey romance. So the next book I read was the second book to that series, called I'm Your Guy by Serena Bowen. This is a hockey romance. This is a male romance. Okay, I will say I've liked Serena Bowen's writing in the past. I like her better when she is paired up with Elle Kennedy. My journey with male romances has kind of like progressed over the years, and I am finding there's other authors out there that I am enjoying much more than her. These I'm Your Guy, I give it 3 stars. I think I gave it like 2 chili peppers. What are the characters' names in this book? Literally, the only reason I know is because I wrote them down here. Carter and Tom, for apparently. I don't even remember reading a book with a character named Tom. But apparently I did. I think this is one of those books where it was like, it was fine. Did it, I can kind of remember. I'm not going to say I completely forgot about the story. I believe, like, because I think his name isn't really Tom. I think I just wrote Tom. I think it's, I don't know. Anyways, I kind of remember he was kind of like grumpy, the hockey player, very like quiet, reserved, and I think he hires Carter, who's like an interior designer, to like design his home because he needs to have it nice before his mom comes to stay for Christmas. That is the premise. See, I haven't completely forgotten these books, okay? But yeah, I just remember it being cute. Fine. Nothing, crazy. Nothing that, like, I'm, wanting to, like, I'm not obsessed with it or anything. Like, there is, later on, I'll be talking about a hockey romance that I am now completely obsessed with. But it was fine. I also read the last book in this series that's out, and it's called The Last Guy on Earth, also obviously by Cursecarve and Bone. Obviously another hockey romance, male. I gave this one also 3 stars, 2 chili peppers. And I feel like this is the same thing. I know this is like a hockey player coach. I think this is you could probably classify it like this is kind of a second chance romance. But yeah, again, I think I remember liking this one maybe the best of the 3 books. Again, kind of like the hockey player is kind of a grumpy guy. I think he's, yeah. And then, like, him, the coach, he gets transferred to the new team with this coach that, they had, like, a past, they have history. I remember, again, fine. These are fine books. They're nothing that, like, I'm overly excited about. 3 stars about to me, like, when I read a book 3 stars, it doesn't mean I disliked it, but it just doesn't mean, like, there was just nothing, like, very special there for me. Nothing that, like, I connected to. Nothing that, like, some of these characters, you just feel like, like, sometimes there's, I feel like sometimes I have to, like, defend contemporary romance to people because they're just kind of like, why do you read so much romance? It's just like a love story. You just, like, know what's going to happen, right? They're going to end up together, which I think that's what makes contemporary romance, such an interesting genre, because yeah, we go in knowing, right? When we go into these books, we know they're going to end up together because that's the whole point. I think actually in the publishing world, you're not even allowed to, like, classify something as a romance unless there's a happily ever after. So that's my thing, though. I think that's so interesting, right? Like, these authors write these interesting enough stories to make us want to read that over and over again, right? Because everyone's love story is different, and you can relate to it in different ways, and you can see yourself in these characters sometimes. You can relate to their situations, their relationships with their families, or their past relationships, maybe the baggage they have from those, or I don't know. I just think that's what makes romance such an interesting genre. Like, yeah, I definitely go into all these books knowing what the end goal is going to be, but I still want to go on that ride with them. And I think what makes a romance, like, when it's, like, really good, when I'm giving a romance 5 stars, it's because I want to know more about that couple. I don't want to leave that couple. I want to read anything and everything you want to tell me about that couple. I don't care if it's, like, their everyday mundane lives. I don't know. I just don't want to leave them because I fell in love with them just as much as they fell in love with each other. So when I give all that to say, when I give something 3 stars, it's like I don't connect with that couple that much. Like, they're, maybe it was cute, it was fine, but it wasn't, like, something where I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna miss those characters. I'm okay letting these characters go. So, again, next book I read was to continue on the Mountain by Thorns series. The second book to that was called Woven by Gold. This is by Elizabeth Helen. This is also a Why Choose Romantasy. It's a loose, well, I won't even say loose. It's a very like in your face retelling of Beauty and the Beast, especially the first book. A little bit too much. If you watched my review, I read that book in April. So if you watch my April wrap up video, you'll see my review on that. I gave this book 3 stars, 2 chili peppers. It might have been like 3 chili peppers. I don't know. Yeah, probably closer to 3 chili peppers. Why choose? Yeah, I was really hoping people like this series. I mean, at least it's like, it's well rated on Goodreads. I think there's 4 books out now, and there's going to be a 5th book. I think, I know the series isn't complete. I do know that. I know that the series just got picked up, traditionally published. And I didn't love the first book, but I noticed the first book was the lowest rated on Goodreads, and that the rest of the books get better. Like, the ratings get better. So I was like, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna give it a try. I don't know if I'm gonna finish this series. I don't know, because this one again was just not that good. There's just something that's very like, I am kind of curious because the authors did mention, 2 sisters, they did mention that with the traditionally published books that will be coming out, like they're going to be re-edited, and I'm a little curious to see if like the extra editing will do something for these books, but I don't know. I still don't know if like I can bring myself to keep. I will never say never, but I do think that there's just probably better series out there, Why Choose series out there. This, I don't know. There's just something about this, the writing. I kind of think, I'm very curious what their process is, because again, like I said, so it's by Elizabeth Helen, which is actually 2 sisters, Elizabeth and Helen. And I kind of curious who writes what, because I do feel like there's sometimes in these books where it's like, oh, I feel like, okay, maybe I can feel like a change, like it could get better, right? Like there's parts of it that interest me, that I find intriguing. And then it's like, it shifts. It's like the tone shifts. So I'm really curious if it's like, I'm wondering if I like one of the sisters' writings better than the other. And maybe that's why I feel like that with these books. I think where it's lacking is the main female character. I don't know what it is about her. I just feel kind of like the writing's a little all over the place. It's just, there's not like a, I do think it would probably very much benefit from some outside editing. I don't know who's edited their stuff prior to this. But yeah, just okay. A little cringy. Like, I think that's like it. There's a lot of cringe in these books, a lot of like cringe dialogue. And a lot of it comes from the main female character. Like I said, I was really hoping I would feel differently after reading the second book and want to continue on with the series. Because there is part of me that's like, oh, I am a little curious, like, how, I guess, like, I'm not going to say, like, I feel like it's very easy to figure out what's going to happen with the series. It's not like I think there's going to be some big surprise reveal or anything. I'm pretty sure. Like, I kind of know where it's going, but like there is that part of me that's a little intrigued to like want to know if I'm right. I'm pretty sure I am. But and kind of see how they finish it. But 5 books is a lot to like spend time on when I'm not like loving the journey. So we'll see. We'll see. It might be one of those things where, because typically when I start a series, if I'm like, I want to read everything that's out from it at the time. When I don't want to continue on to the next book right away is when, like, I'm like, oh, I don't really love it too much. So this might just be one of those, maybe I'll pick up the 3rd book randomly and read it, and then months later read the 4th. I don't know. We'll see. I won't completely count it out, but I don't see myself running to it. They are in KU, so it's not like I have to spend money on reading them. So I'll never say never. But, yeah, we'll see. Okay, the next one I read was A Cursecarve and Bone by Danielle Jensen. This is the conclusion of the Saga of the Unfated duology. The first book in the series is called A Fate Inked in Blood. It was very popular last year when it came out. I gave this book 4.5 stars, 2 chili peppers. I liked it. I liked the conclusion of Feyre's story. Not Feyre. It's not Akatar. Freya and Bjorn. Their story. I appreciated this book. I think Danielle Jensen's writing's really good. And I enjoyed her characters. This book moves to a dual POV, which I enjoyed. But I think overall, I liked Fate Inked in Blood better of the 2 books. But I highly recommend this, especially if you're into like Norse mythology. It's a completed duology, which is nice. If you want to read it, you can read the whole thing back to back. You don't have to wait, which is always lovely. You know, there's a lot of twists and turns, which I appreciated. Freya is, a very badass main female character. I appreciate her. But yeah, I don't want to really talk too much about this because obviously it's the second book of a duology, so anything I talk about I'm going to give away. I would be spoiling the first one, so we won't really talk about this one, but I will say I do highly recommend this duology if you enjoy romantasy, especially if you enjoy the Viking vibes. Okay, this is I think the first kind of book I've read with those vibes, and I really liked it. My mom was here. My mom was just here visiting, and she really only reads like period, like bodice ripper. I remember growing up, she read like a lot of those like, Fabio cover books, right? That's really all she likes to read. She really likes basically historical fiction, historical romance, I guess. But I want her to try something more modern. And she was saying how she's like, oh, I like Vikings and blah blah. I'm like, oh well, try this. Try A Fate Inked in Blood. See if you'll like it. You'll like it because my mom likes fantasy movies and stuff like that. So I'm like, I think you'd like a romantasy book. I think you should try it. So I don't know. I don't know if she will, but she didn't want to borrow my copy because she didn't want to mess it up. She's one of those. She's one of those, that likes to fold the books. I could never. So she's gonna look and see if she can pick it up a paperback so she can read it. But yeah, I think if those are vibes you like, definitely try out this duology. Okay, the next book I read was called These Monstrous Deeds by T.J. Harnell. So this is a dark romance, very dark. This is a male romance. And I gave this 3 stars and 4, you can maybe even take this. I gave it 4 chili peppers. This is written in third person. I don't read a lot of romance in third person. I really prefer my romance to be written in dual point of view, first person. And after reading this, I was like, oh, I don't think I like third person romance. But funnily enough, I read another series later, which we'll talk about, where I loved it so freaking much. So I guess this maybe just wasn't the book. Part of the reason why third person can get annoying to me is the use of the characters' names over and over again. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's so one of the okay, so the premise of this, again, like I said, dark romance. Read your triggers if you do want to read this book. This is about an undercover guy. Don't ask me names. But so that one of the main guys, he's an undercover cop. He's undercover, yeah, cop, I guess, in like a sex trafficking ring. And so he's undercover as like one of the like big, you know, names down there. Like, I don't know, I guess one of the bosses. And his friend gets like made, and they find out he has a brother, and they kidnap his brother and sell his brother in the sex trafficking ring, and the undercover buys him, okay, to like protect him, but also has to keep up his, you know, his persona. Okay, you can imagine what happens from there. Like I said, it's very dark. And the brother that is sold is, you know, to call him sir. Okay. And like, I don't know how many times I had to read sir, because like, that's his only way of like, you know, like saying that character's name. And it's just like, to me, I don't know, it gets annoying. Whereas if I read something first person, they're going to say like I, or he, or they, or whatever. Like, but like, it was just like too many, the name over and over and over. And I don't know why that annoys me. Is that a weird thing? Probably. Am I alone in this annoyance? Maybe. I don't know. You let me know. So I didn't love that aspect of this book, but also I don't know. I just don't think it was for me. This is a trilogy, I think, and I don't know if I'll continue on. Obviously it left off on a cliffhanger, and I wasn't like drawn to go to the second book right away. So, well, do I think I'm going to continue this? I don't know. The reason I read this is because I saw some people raving about it on social media. I don't know. I just didn't love it. And I know it sounds weird, but it wasn't because of the content. I understand if the content is not for everyone. I get that it's not for everyone. Believe me. But it wasn't necessarily the content I didn't like that. Maybe not like, I think it was the writing. And just like, I'll just stick it at that, because I don't want to like ruin anything. I don't want any spoilers. I just think it was basically the writing. I just didn't really love it. Yeah. Again, another 3-star. This was like a kind of like, the first half of this month was a little mediocre, with a good book, you know, thrown in there, here and there. But towards the end of the month, it got much better. So the next book I read was Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforty. But I mentioned I read 17 books this month, and I mentioned that 4 were rereads. And that was what I reread was the Windy City series by Liz Tomforty. If you're new here, this is my favorite sports romance series of all time. I do have a new favorite. Not that it overtakes this, but I do have like a new series that I really love. But not as much as this, because that series isn't all 5 stars. Whereas this series is all 5 stars. Except Rewind It Back. I hate saying that. But I did reread all these. I did these all on audio this month, or the month of May. And I still, I just fell in love all over again with all these. I won't, like I said, I don't want to talk about these all individually, because this is a reread. They were a reread, but I can't highlight this series enough. I just feel like, if you've never read a sports romance, if you never thought you would like a sports romance, still read these because they're so good, okay? And the sports stuff is not... I kind of wonder what people think when they've never read a sports romance, what they expect, because it's like, I don't know if they think it's going to be like a lot of sports. It's really not. Like, the sports are usually like a subplot. Like, yeah... They probably go to games in the book, right? And they probably talk about maybe something that's happening within the game, but it's not like that's like, you know, like every, I don't know, few chapters. It's like definitely like a subplot of the book. It's just a setting, you know. So I don't know. I just feel like everyone should read this series because it's so freaking good. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. But I did re-listen to all these. Audiobooks are also so good on these. They're all dual narrated, so they all have a male and female, but they aren't all duets. I haven't listened to Rewind It Back yet, but this one is a duet. So the difference is dual narrators versus duet. Like, so because these are all dual POV books, right? So you're going to have chapters from the girl's point of view and chapters from the guy's point of view. Dual narrated means like there is a male narrator for the male chapters and a female narrator for the female chapters. But if like the male is talking in the female chapter, the female narrator is going to do his voice. Where a duet, which this one is audio wise, and I still haven't listened to it because I just read this one physically, so I'll probably re-listen to it maybe later this year. Duet means that all women's lines, no matter what chapter it is going to be read by the female narrator. All men's lines, no matter what chapter it is, are going to be read by the male narrator. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. I feel like maybe that's, maybe I'm dumb for telling you guys. Maybe that's so obvious. But if you didn't know, now you know. But yeah, so Windy City series were four of the four that I reread this year, and I did count them. I'll get in my full total. All four of these books are 5-star reads for me. Mile High, Mile High is the first book. The Right Move, Caught Up and Play Along. Isaiah is such a perfect boyfriend. Okay. But I reread all those in preparation for Rewind It Back because this is the last book of the series, which I am so freaking sad about. And I will say maybe that pressure is maybe what like kept me from like loving it as much as I wanted to. Don't get me wrong. I still love this book and I still gave it 4.5 stars. Okay. But it just, I was so excited for this book because it's Rio's book. If you read any of them, or if you're going to read any of them, Rio is in all the other books here and there. So you kind of get to know him. And I don't know what it was. I kind of think it's more the trope. So this is a second chance romance. And I think I'm learning that like second chance romances are not really my thing. I think sometimes maybe, but like for the most part, yeah, I just don't think it's my favorite trope. This is also just feels very different from these because how it's written, you're going to have a little bit of like time, like not time jump. Well, so you're going to have some chapters that go back and talk about them from, before, which I'm also not a huge fan of that typically in books, because when that happens a lot of times in books, I just want to like get back to the present. Like, I'm like, you'll have a chapter of the present, right? And then like it ends and you're just like, I want to know what keeps happening. And then I have to go back and read a chapter from like the past. And it's not that that's bad, because like I said, Liz Tomforty's writing is so good. Like I would never say her writing is bad. Well, I guess I never say it, but like it's not. That has nothing to do with what, like the issues I have with this book. I know a lot of people love this one the most because I think second chance is their trope. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's something else I don't always really love in books, is when there's like a time jump in the chapters. But I still, like I said, the whole series, I'll still always recommend these. It's still my very most favorite sports romance, probably just romance series in general. I will, like I said, I don't know, these will be books I reread all the time, because I love them so much. I love this found family. There's a great found family aspect throughout this series. All the characters are just so good to me. I can find ways to connect to almost all of them. And yeah, just read these, okay? Even though this one wasn't my favorite, it's, like I said, does not mean it is not good, because it is very good still. it just maybe wasn't what I expected of the end. Now, I will say this series is complete, but there is going to be a spin-off book that comes out next year. Just the one, which I'm very, very, very excited about. And then she also teases her next series in this series, so I'm hoping that we'll get like some cameos maybe from some of these characters that we love from the series in her next one, which I'm excited about. Liz Tom 40 has definitely become an author I'll always read. I'm gonna pick up anything she writes. I also got to meet her last month, which was great. But yeah, read this series. It's so good. You will not regret it. We have 4 books left. Oh my gosh. Okay, the next book I read, I mentioned earlier I read a third-person narrated book and I didn't love it. Okay, so then I started this new sports romance series called the Game Changer series. I had heard about this series a lot on social media, especially the second book in this series. And I actually picked that book up at the LA Times Book Festival in April. But I was like, I still needed the first book. And I kept debating on buying them. Well, the whole series ended up on KU. And I was like, okay, well, this is a sign. I want to read this. And so I picked up the first book in that series called Game Changer. It's by Rachel Reed. Again, sports hockey romance series. This is an MM series. Every book is hockey romance, MM. I didn't love this first book in the series. These are also written in third person, and I do say, like, again, the same kind of annoyance from the other one annoyed me a little bit in this one. Just like repeating of names over and over again. I think maybe it's a weird thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Anyways, we have Kip and, gosh, I wish I wrote down names. Oof. What are the names of the guys in this one? I think it's Kip and, oh, his name keeps coming and leaving. They're in like the other books too. Dang it, I don't know. Gosh dang it. Okay, but one's a hockey player and one like works at like a smoothie shop, and the hockey player, gosh, I wish I remembered his name, you guys. I feel like I'm failing you. It's just too much information, and I did not write down the names. And that's something I was like, I need to start doing that in the book journal, like write down the main character's name so that when I do these, I remember. Dang it. Why did Sean keeps popping? I know that's not right though. But anyways, hockey player like goes into the smoothie shop, gets a smoothie. So it's like kind of their like meet. And then like he has a really good game, so he feels like he keeps coming back for the smoothie, and that's how they kind of meet. Anyways, he's closeted because he's like a hockey star and he's scared about coming out. It's a cute story, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't my favorite. I gave this book, I don't think I said, I gave it 3 stars. I gave it 2 chili peppers. I don't even know if I've said all the chili peppers in this. Like I said, chili peppers mean nothing this month, you guys, okay? But I thought it was a cute book, right? It was okay. Again, one of those books where it's like, it was fine. I didn't like love it. And I was kind of like, oh, if the second book didn't get so much hype on social media, I might have not continued this series, or at least I don't think I would have continued it right away. And I actually didn't. I did read a book in between, so I will talk about that next, and then we'll get to the second book of that series. Just because, like, yeah, I didn't love the first one that much. Maybe actually, you know what? I'll talk about the rest of this and then I'll talk about that. So yeah, I read a book in between, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to read the second book because I hear such good things about it. I read Heated Rivals by Rachel Reed. Oh my God, Ilya. And Shane. This isn't third person, and this I did not bother me one bit in this book. This book, oh my God, 5 freaking stars. Okay, I gave it 3 chili peppers. Heated rivalry. Obviously, this is like an enemies to lovers. The way this book is written is just so perfect. I don't really want to talk about it too much, but like. Earlier I kind of told you how I didn't like time jumping in this. This does a little bit of time jumping, but it's like, it just works. It works so perfectly in this one how she did it. She like kind of teases you, and then she goes back, and then we get to see like how their relationship developed over these years. I think this book spans like 10 years. Or at least like 8 years. Maybe it's 10 years because so this is a 6-book series. Ilya and Shane are the main characters in Heated Rivalry. But they're also the characters in the last book of the series called The Long Game. So the 10 years might be the whole, I don't know, whatever. Read this book. It's so freaking good. I loved it so much. I love Ilya so much. I like Shane too, but Ilya is just like, he's a book boyfriend, okay? He is one of the book boyfriends now. I'm obsessed with this now. I have bought 3 of the books so far. I need to buy the others. And then I've already bought, I found this artist who did like these really cute dust jackets for these, and I bought those. And I also found out, it's funny, like literally the day after I finished the series, so you're only going to hear about 3 of these books this month because I read the rest in June. But the day I finished the series, like the next day, they announced that they like filmed a TV show for it already. Unfortunately, it's on a Canada streaming service. I don't know when it's going to come out. But yeah, they're already done filming. Like apparently they kept it under wraps until they were done filming. Like typically you kind of like hear about these things like when they're starting, like before they even cast them. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure out some way to watch that. I'm hoping it's like one of those things where like Netflix or someone like a American or streaming service that we can use here in America will like show it, because I need to watch it. I'll have to watch it because I love this so much. Yeah, I highly recommend. Like I said, the first book in the series wasn't my favorite, and like not so like, whereas the Windy City series, like everything's 5 stars except for Rhino Back, which is 4.5 stars. This whole series wasn't 5 stars for me. Like not every single book, but 3 of the books are 5 stars. And I didn't dislike any of them. I just didn't like love a couple of them. But it's still worth it. And I still think, like, even though Game Changer wasn't necessarily my favorite, I mean, I don't see why. I could see how it could be some people's favorites. You know what I mean? And I do think you should still read it. I think you should read the whole series as a whole. But the whole series, yeah. But yeah, the Heated Rivalry and The Long Game are my favorite. And one I read in June. I also read the 3rd book of the series, which I don't have that one physically yet, called Tough Guy. Also Rachel Reed, obviously. It's the 3rd book in the series. That one I gave that one 3.5 stars. 3 chili peppers again. I don't even know. But that one was probably, like, if I had to rank them of the 7, that was probably like my 6th favorite of the series. I did think it was really cute. I thought it was a very in that book we follow, I think his name's Ryan Fabian, and I did really like that dynamic. Ryan is just like really sweet and like has a lot of like insecurities in himself, so I did think like that was really sweet like dynamic with their relationship. That one's kind of a second chance, but not really in the sense of like other second chances, because it's not like they had a relationship, but they did know each other when they were younger, and then they like aren't reconnecting as they're older. Ryan is a hockey player and Fabian is a musician, and they're kind of like opposites attract. I did think that they were really cute and they were really sweet, and I did enjoy their story. So again, like I just recommend the whole series, and you'll hear about the other 3 books next month when I do my wrap up for June, because I hate that I had to kind of split them up, but like I said, I devoured this series. I will just tell you guys that. Like again, like I said, I read Game Changer, and then I read the last book I'm going to talk about, Shield of Sparrows, and then when I started Heated Rivalry to the time I started Heated Rivalry to The Long Game was like 6 days, I think. Not even. I don't even think it took me a week. I devoured the series, you guys. It was so good. So if you have KU especially, read it because it's on there. And then go buy the books because that's what I did. Well, I still, like I said, I still need to read. I still need to buy 3 more books. But yeah, such a good series, such sweet stories, and like every single couple feels different enough where it doesn't get like repetitive or feel like, I don't know, just feel like same old. But like I said, Elia and Shane are my favorite of the couples. Okay, the last book we're going to talk about is Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. This is a new romantasy book that just came out. I think it came out in April or May. It might have come out. No, I think it came out in May. I've read one other book by Devney Perry, but this is her first romantasy. She typically reads, I don't know, well, she actually reads romantasy. I met her this month too, and she said that she loves reading romantasy. But she typically writes romance, contemporary, a lot of cowboy romance, I think, and then like kind of like, you know, some of her series are like romance, but like a twist of like a mystery or like in them. I've read one other book by her called Crossroads, and I remember liking it. Like, it wasn't like one of my favorites, but I remembered it was like fine. So I was like, this book is so gorgeous too, by the way, that I was like, I want to try this out and see how she does with romantasy. Knocked it out of the freaking park. I loved this book so much. 5 stars. I don't know. It's not that spicy. I would probably give it around 2 chili peppers. I can't wait. This is going to be a trilogy. I think she just started writing the second one, and I cannot wait. This book gave me the closest thing to how I felt after reading Fourth Wing of any romantasy book I've read so far. I just appreciated that. I can't explain what I love. I can't really explain what I loved about this book without spoiling stuff, so I hate that. But like, I'm trying to think of how I can say it without. But I just feel like there's just a lot of unique ideas in here. Again, I don't want to go too much into it. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't really want to say much about it at all because I went into this book pretty blind, and I liked that. And I feel like I want you guys to go into it blind. But all I'll say is read this. Please read this. It's so good. I'm trying to think of anything I can say about it without spoiling anything. Because like I said, I really don't want to like even talk about tropes or anything because I just feel like it's best going in unaware of any of it. I love the characters. There's great characters in this. I loved the tension. I loved the tension in this book. I loved, like I said, the unique, I think, stories, creatures, twists and turns. I'm not showing you the book. Yeah, it's probably, like I said, I definitely, I think, I haven't like done the numbers, but I do read definitely way more contemporary romance than I do romantasies. But I can't even tell you one that comes like I said, I don't know. This gave me post Fourth Wing feelings, and it really has been something I think I've just been searching for when it comes to romantasy. I've definitely read plenty of romantasy that I like. Okay, I'm not saying that like that I really like, that I enjoyed a lot, but to give me like this kind of feeling post book where I really cannot wait for the next one, where I'm kind of like wondering what's gonna happen and like thinking of, you know, possibilities and kind of like theories and stuff like that. Not since, like I said, not since Fourth Wing. So yeah, I don't want to talk. I don't even really want to give you anything. If you're curious, read the synopsis yourself. You know, but if you love romantasy, if you love Fourth Wing, or anything along those lines, I think you will really enjoy this. Yeah, go read it right away. and get your book if you want this gorgeous book. Get it if you find it, pick it up, because I know it's sold out a lot and it's just down back to like regular white pages. Because that's, and this, you know, you see a lot of books hyped up on social media and stuff like that, and I think a lot of times they don't live up to the hype. This one, I almost don't even know if it's been hyped up enough, in my opinion. Yeah, definitely worth it. Read it. Go read it right now. Okay, I got done filming all of this, and I remembered I forgot to talk about a book, because like I don't think I wrote it in my book journal because it was an audiobook I listened to. Bodhi's walking in here, so sorry if you can hear his toes on his little clicky clackies. I also, and then I was like, oh, I said I read 17 books and I only talked about 16, and then I didn't want to be a liar because I did read 17 books last month. I forgot that I also listened to The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez. It's just a short novella she has, and it was like, I don't know, I had finished listening to Reckless. I also re-listened to Reckless this month, but I didn't, by Elsie Sulfur, but I didn't count that because I've already read that book once this year. I don't know, so I didn't count that. But anyways, and I was just like, I still was working and I wanted something more to listen to, and I saw that I can get that for like $1.99 on Audible, because it's just a quick little novella. So I did read that too. So I wanted to talk about that really quick, and add it in here at the end of this. I did read that. I gave it like 3 stars. It was probably 3.5 maybe. It was my least favorite thing I've ever read from Abby. And maybe it was just because it was just a novella. It wasn't like there wasn't a whole lot to go on, and it was very like kind of insta-lovey, which I guess like, I don't know, isn't that surprising in such a short, because it was like a really short novella, not even like because I talk about like Kayla Gross books a lot, and she writes a lot of novellas, but they're like, I don't know, there's enough there where like it doesn't feel too like fast. But this was like literally like the span of like, I think even not even a week in the book. I think it was like a weekend, I think. So it was fine. I mean, it had like, you know, Abby banter and stuff, which I liked. I think that if it was like a full-fledged book, I think I would have enjoyed it more maybe. But yeah, I was like, I almost was just like, you never mind, I'm just not gonna add it into the video. But then I remember I did say I read 17 books, and that was in the count of 17, and then I didn't want it to didn't want it to look like I was fibbing. Okay, I was not fibbing. There was 17 books. So I just wanted to come on here real quick. I kind of don't think there was any spice in that little novella. Was there any spice at all? I don't think so. But yeah, it was fine. It was just a cute little like neighbor love story. It did have like some I say it's a cute. There was like a little bit like a mental health like aspects to it, like a little bit of a serious note, because she is being stalked by someone. So it wasn't just like light. But yeah, it was just fine. But I did want to come in here and tell you guys I did also read that. So now I'm gonna cut back to, you know, my outro here. So it'll probably be a little weird. I know I don't think I was wearing glasses in my video, so you'll definitely notice it. But yeah, just wanted to add that in here. Okay. That was a long one. I read a lot. I yapped a lot. I try not to yap that much too, and I still yapped a lot. I have a feeling June might be very similar to this, because I've already read, I don't even know, at least 10 books, if not more. I will say there was one book I didn't get to. I had on my TBR for June, which was Reversed by Kate Stewart. I didn't end up getting to that. I just wasn't in the mood, and I just haven't been in the mood since. I still haven't read it. I've been very much in like my mood reading mode, and it's been really hard for me to like actually read my TBR. I'm doing okay for June. I only picked 6 books for my TBR for June, and I've read 3. So I have 3 to go. It is I don't even know what the date is. 17th, 18th? I don't know. It's mid-June. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to get to all my TBR for June. But I, like I said, I'm very much just like wanting to just find, again, today I finished a book that was a book I just randomly found on KU. And that's just the headspace I've been in lately. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hopefully it wasn't too all over the place. I'm sorry that I just like completely forgot details of books. I will try my very, very best to be better about that this month, and write in my book journal. I don't know. I'm almost like ready to just put that in the fail column for my goals for 2025, but we'll see. But let me know what you read in May. Let me know what your favorite books that you read in May. Let me know if you read any of the books I read, or if you want to read any of them, because I'm hoping I made you guys want to add some of these to your TBR, because I did read some really amazing books in May. But yeah, let me know all that down in the comments. And if you like this, I would love it if you liked, commented, and subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one.